I had a blast, but I tell you, the next day, my body was like, what did you do? Why would you do this? And salam and hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are all doing very well. In today's video, I'm going to talk about something that is really important but often overlooked for women who are getting older, entering their 40s and 50s, and that is joint strength. Now, as humans, we have over 360 joints in our body. So we have synovial joints that are movable joints like our knees, our shoulders, our hip flexors, and then we have partially movable joints called cartilaginous joints, and that includes our ribs and our spine, for example. And then finally, we have fibrous joints that are immovable joints like our skull sutures, for example. So let's talk about the synovial joints right now. That's what I really want to focus on, because I feel like a lot of us are having a lot of issues with these movable joints, our wrists, our fingers, our shoulders, our elbows, our knees, our hips, and there are a lot of reasons why we're having these issues. And let me talk to you first about why we're having these issues and then what we can do to alleviate some of the stress that are experienced by our joints. So first on the list, understand that it's important to keep your joints lubricated. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 women over the age of 45 reports that they feel some type of joint stiffness or joint achiness. Now, when we're talking about joint stiffness or joint achiness, it can be a lot of things. It can be a lack of mobility, lack of movement, or it can be an illness. But one thing I want you to consider is that if you're healthy, bring no other issues, keep moving, keep yourself lubricated and moving. So that means rotating your wrists, rotating your shoulders, doing hip flexors, doing hip rotations. These arm circles are very simple, and they're if you don't have any immobility issues, you can do this during the day, throughout the day. If you are feeling like this really unusual stiffness that you haven't felt before, or it's been creeping up over time, is to consider keeping yourself lubricated and moving throughout the day. That's going to be really important for you. Now, second on the list, take breaks from sitting. Many of us may be working 8, 10-hour, 12-hour day jobs that have us sitting throughout the day. Now, this is very, very important for you to listen to, because understand that when we sit for long periods of time, our musculoskeletal structure starts to decline, our glutes are weakened, we're just not getting enough mobility in throughout the day. So it's going to be really important for us to get up and stretch. Now, many of you have a smartwatch or you have something on your phone that allows you to be reminded that you need to get up and you need to move, you need to stretch, you need to take a break from whatever it is that you're doing, because the chips and the sensors, the technology can sense that you've been sitting for a long period of time, and so that you need to get up and move. And I would take those breaks when your watch or when your phone or whenever you get reminded to get up and move. Please move, because every 30 to 60 minutes is when you're expected to stand up, stretch, or walk for a few minutes. Sitting for too long periods of time actually tightens our hip flexors, and it makes our knees stiff. Have you ever stood up and then just realized that your knees are achy and that the stiffness in your body is becoming more and more? Well, that's because we're not moving enough. That's because you're not moving enough. So it's going to be important that if you are in one of these jobs that keeps you seated for long periods of time, to please get up and move if you can. Even if you have to move within your cubicle or within your sitting area, just get up, keep your headset on, stay by your computer, do your job, do your best that you can, but please get up and move and stretch. Third on the list, take breaks if you are doing high impact exercise. And take this from me, just take it as a word of caution, is that I've been doing some heavy weight lifting over the last 1 to 2 years, and I've been going hard sometimes, and then I had to pull back a little bit because I realized that my joints are as old as me. So if my joints are as old as me, it's just kind of like, what do I think I'm doing? Now, I have used personal trainers in the past, but still, I am of a certain age. I'm over 40. Some of you watching are over 40, maybe in your 30s, 50s, or 60s. It doesn't really matter. What you need to do is just be careful and take breaks if you need to, if you're going hard in the gym, because, I do push for strength training and building your muscle, because muscle is on the decline, but I also push for being cautious and being careful with your body as you get older, because recovery times are longer. If you ever notice that if you had an injury now versus when you were in your teens or your 20s, it might take longer for you to recover. So some of the things I want you to consider: low packed options, exercise options like swimming or cycling. Some people like Pilates, some people don't. Just think about things that can be a little less harsh on your joints. I started calisthenics, but this too is body weight movement. No real weights involved, but this is just something I've been trying. So consider those low impact options. Another thing you want to try to consider is that if you have been doing this for years, you are a pro, you've been weightlifting, you've been running, just consider your form. Consider improving your form. Consider improving, if you're a runner, like your footwear. Consider improving things of that nature that will just keep you on your path. Like the path you're going on, you're healthy, you're moving, you're doing okay. Hey, stick with that. Just remember to get in those recovery days, because we all need them. And again, work with a trainer if you can. If you have the ability, the time, the funds, work with a professional and qualified trainer that can show you around the gym, that can show you the appropriate exercises to do and the way to do them that is safe for you, because that's going to be really important for all your joints and all of your everything, your health overall as you move forward in life. Fourth on the list, I want you to consider walking more. Now, yes, getting up from your seat if you work a desk job and taking your little 5 to 10 minute break is important, but essentially we want to get in more steps. Now, I know that there's been a lot said about how many steps to take. Some people say 5,000, some sources say 7,000 steps a day. Some people, talk about getting in 12,000 steps a day. And I know many of you watching might be saying, who has the time to get in 12,000 steps a day? And I hear you, but I think that if you keep your watch on, your smartwatch or your little step counter on your hip, you might be able to see that you can do it. You can get in a few thousand steps per day. At a minimum, I would say go for 3,000 to 5,000 if you can. No pressure, because I know a lot of us might be thinking, well, I don't even get up to 10,000, so I'm not even meeting the bare minimum. Don't sweat that. Just do what you can, especially initially. Now, it's important to walk because it improves that lubrication, as I mentioned before, for your hips, for your knees, for your ankles, which is often not talked about enough, and also for our circulation and for our muscle strength while maintaining a healthy weight. Now, understand that 1 pound of extra weight equals 4 pounds of added pressure on our knees. So if you can only walk for 30 minutes a day, go ahead and do that. Break it up, 10 minutes throughout the day. You'll see that it's going to be beneficial for you. And please try your best, because regular walking, according to research, the stat I have here is it reduces joint stiffness by 20 to 30%, and it helps boost your flexibility. So, lubrication, not being stiff, these are all things we want to be considering, especially as we get older, because I know sometimes you just be sitting down and you be thinking, oh, my back hurts, I've been sitting for too long, my joints are achy, my joints are squeaky. These are signs your body is telling you, get up, move, remain flexible, don't enter your midlife or your elder years, stiff, okay? Remember that. Fifth on the list, I really want to talk about something that's important as well, and that is to maintain a healthy weight. We are in a time when overweight and the incidences of women who are overweight or obese, or the prevalence, I should say, of women who are overweight or obese is growing. And this carries an excessive weight, increased strain on our knees, hips, and lower back. So it's going to be important for you to know that even a small loss of weight, let's say 5 to 10%, can significantly reduce joint pain and inflammation or swelling. So maintaining a healthy weight, there are many ways you can do this. You may have tried different ways, dieting and diet fads, fasting, intermittent fasting. And the one thing that I do try to return to is just remember to watch your protein intake, watch your fiber intake, not even watch, track it, write it down, measure it, weigh it out, measure your protein, write down how much fiber you're eating. With regards to sleep, just like set a timer. And sometimes people like to sleep with their watch too, that actually can tell them how much deep sleep they've gotten. I don't do this because I don't like to wear watches or anything like that to sleep, but it's going to be important for you to be tracking your yourself. Do you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Maybe not every day, but how many days during the week are you able to manage this type of sleep? Because quality sleep comes in once you get deep into that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. We're talking deep quality sleep, which is very much needed for every one of us. So all of these things I mentioned, the protein, the fiber, the sleep, the strength training, they all help preserve muscle mass and metabolism during perimenopause, during this stage of our lives. So again, I mentioned before about each pound of weight loss relieves 4 pounds of pressure on the knees, which I mentioned before, and 6 pounds of pressure on the hips, and that is from the Arthritis Foundation. So it's important to know that the more weight you lose, the less stress your joints go through. And losing the weight safely is also important because you don't want to compromise your body composition and your bone health and your muscle health at the same time. So again, no fad diets if you can. Try to stick with a sustainable and balanced diet, and you are going to be tracking and measuring and weighing out your protein and writing down how much fiber, how many carbs, how much fat, and all the good things that are going to keep you healthy. So this will help support our hormones and our joint health long term. Now, 6 on the list, I want you to consider stretching. Now, I've talked about stretching before in this video here, which I'd like for you to take a look at when you're done with this video. And stretching keeps our muscles flexible and our joints aligned. Stretching really does play a big role in our health. Stretching, for example, it allows us to remain fluid. It allows us to remain unstiff. You can stretch in the morning. Some people like to stretch in the morning or mid-afternoon, or in the evening right before they sleep. It might help some of you women watching sleep better at night when you stretch. Hassan Minhaj, the comedian, said after he turned 40, one of the most important things he had to do for himself was to stretch. And I know a lot of women who are over 40 can agree with him in that once you turn 40 or reach that type of age, your body has different requirements than it did in the past. And so I just want to encourage you to stretch for your hips, hamstrings, shoulders, and back, and your spine, and anything you think is tight on your body. That's where you need to focus on. You need to stretch that out. You need to loosen those kinks. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how do I do that? Do I need to go to somebody to help me stretch? And I've known some people to do that, to go out and get a professional to help them stretch, to get that deep stretch. But I would also encourage you to stay on this platform and look for videos that help you stretch. Beginner stretching videos are really good. I've tried them. They are very helpful, but you want to do them consistently. Even if you're not watching a video every day, take the tips and the tricks you learn from that video and implement them into your own life. They will be very beneficial for you, guaranteed. And just take it slow. Don't push yourself, no doing splits if you've never done a split before, but try to ease into something that will really try to get your body flexible and moving and your joints healthy and lubricated. All right. So mobility routines are going to be important to release tension and improve that range of motion for you. So again, morning, afternoon, night, just get it done, please. And don't take for granted that the body you have now is the most youthful it will ever be. As we are watching this video, I am talking to you, your body is the youngest it will ever be. So take advantage of that youth and do something positive with your body. Now, last on the list, 7, is to eat for anti-inflammation and fighting that inflammation and that swelling that is normally seen with aging and joint stiffness. Additionally, you want to be careful of the aches and the pains. So one thing I want you to focus on is the anti-inflammatory foods, including those omega-3 reducing inflammation foods such as your fatty fish. So I'm talking about mackerel, sardines, salmon is a big one. I know some of you love salmon, so please, if you can, add a little bit more of that into your diet. And then also think about nuts and seeds, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. Just be careful for the walnuts and the cashews, those of that nature, for your calorie count if you are in a calorie deficit or you are trying to pay particular attention to your calorie count. Another thing I want you to consider are berries, great in antioxidants. So I'm talking about blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, all very good at helping to protect joint tissue. And now last on the list, I have leafy greens. greens. So you know your leafy greens, I talk about this a lot. They are rich in calcium and vitamin K. So I want you to think about spinach, kale, and broccoli, for example. Those are good ones. Broccoli especially can be really good for some women who are, you know, within the perimenopausal range, and also women who might still be going through some fibroid issues. So please consider those leafy green vegetables. And again, please avoid these processed and packaged foods as much as you can. In this video here, I talk about sugar cravings and why they seem to creep up on us after the age of 40. Just know you are not alone. You are not alone. These things are happening. And a lot of women have a lot of questions about what can I do? One of the things you can do is avoid those processed sugary foods, those refined sugary foods and fried foods that worsen inflammation. If you know, there was one time I went to a seafood place, and hey, it was boiled seafood. It had like the spices in the bag, and you know, with the potatoes and the shrimp and the sauce and the spiciness. I had a blast, but I tell you, the next day my body was like, what did you do? Why would you do this? And that's kind of hard because you want to enjoy food. I wanted to enjoy that spicy shrimp, potato, corn, you know, seafood boil, or seafood broil. I think I'm saying it wrong. However, the very next day I was just like, I wasn't feeling well. I think the sodium content may have been too much. The sodium and the oil content may have been too much for me. So my body didn't agree with it. So I just have to, you know, even if I try it in the future, maybe I eat a small portion of it and not as much. That's to be determined. I got to figure out what I'm going to do about that, because it was very good. But hey, so anyways, diets high in omega-3 and antioxidants can help reduce joint pain by up to 25%, according to the Arthritis Foundation. Now, I know that supplements, I talk about supplements on my channel because I'm not against supplements. If you are having some type of deficiency, like a vitamin D deficiency, and you've measured that vitamin D deficiency, so you have a known low level of vitamin D, so you are supplementing with vitamin D, I'm all for, hey, saying go ahead, take your supplements. Make sure you're consistent and diligent in taking those vitamins to help you out. You might be on a lower level or a higher level. That would depend on your particular situation and what your prescriber will write a prescription for. But I think that starting first with the physical is more important for many of you watching, because before you jump to collagen and glucosamine and chondroitin, you might just try to do things with yourself naturally and physically, like walking, getting out in the sun, exercising more. So that's really a good foundation to start. The regular movement, balanced diet, hydration, rest and recovery. Supplements can help many people, but however, we want to start first with what we can do naturally. So please understand that your body, your joints, everything with you carries yourself into your future years. It carries you through life, through work, through school, through parenthood, through adulthood, through menopause, which many of you might be going through right now. So I want you to show yourselves love every day and to just make those small, consistent habits that will get you through the day. I hope that the information in this video has been very beneficial for you. I thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.